Imagine chasing a dream so relentlessly that you wake up one day to find yourself standing on top of a mountain completely alone. Eleanor Vane had built an empire, a globally recognized tech company that promised to revolutionize the way people connected. Her penthouse apartment overlooked a sprawling city, a testament to her ambition and relentless drive. Yet, on the eve of her company's biggest product launch, she found herself staring out at the glittering skyline, profound emptiness echoing the vastness around her. Before we dive into this intellectual and emotional odyssey, make sure to subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell, and let me know in the comment where you're watching from. The digital clock on her bedside table glowed at 3 a.m. Another sleepless night spent meticulously reviewing every detail, every line of code, every marketing strategy for Next, her groundbreaking social platform. Its irony was not lost on her. It was creating a world designed for connection, yet she felt utterly disconnected. Her phone, a sleek, custom-designed device, vibrated softly. A notification from her personal assistant, a reminder for the morning's early start. No personal messages, no well wishes, just the ceaseless hum of her professional life. She walked to the floor-to-ceiling window, the city lights below a dazzling, indifferent tap. Her apartment, a minimalist masterpiece of glass and steel, felt less like a home and more like a high-tech fortress against the world. 45 years old, and the only truly consistent relationship in her life was with her work. The thought didn't sting as much as it used to. She had long ago numbed herself to such emotional reality. A faint light showed from the kitchen. Maria, her live-in housekeeper, was probably already preparing for the day, moving with the quiet efficiency that Eleanor had come to expect, and in her own distant way, appreciate. Maria Rodriguez, a woman in her early 50s, a recent immigrant, was supporting her 2 teenage children back in her home country while working tirelessly in Eleanor's sterile environment. Eleanor knew these facts in the same way she knew market trends, data points in a perfectly optimized life. Eleanor often wondered about Maria's world beyond these walls, a world of family, struggle, and connection that seemed utterly foreign to her own, but she never asked. Her interactions with Maria were polite, professional, and entirely transactional. Eleanor sighed, a whisper lost in the vastness of the room. The Nexus launch was everything she had worked for. Every sacrifice, every late night, every moment of loneliness poured into its development. Yet the closer she got to its realization, the more a quiet unease settled in her heart. Was this what ultimate success felt like? This polished, sterile isolation? She went to her state-of-the-art kitchen, pouring herself a glass of filtered water. The silence pressed in on her, broken only by the hum of expensive appliances. She imagined the bustling energy of Maria's distant home, the sounds of children, the warmth of shared meals, a life so starkly different from her own. Her phone buzzed again, a news alert. Nexus poised to dominate global social media market. Eleanor read the headline, a familiar surge of professional pride mixed with the persistent, unsettling emptiness. She should be ecstatic, shouldn't she? This was her life's ambition, realized, but the triumph felt hollow, a victory celebrated in solitude. Maria's footsteps were barely audible as she moved through the kitchen, preparing breakfast. The aroma of freshly brewed coffee, a comforting scent, filled the air. Maria never imposed, never spoke unless spoken to, but her presence, quiet and diligent, was a constant in Eleanor's meticulously ordered life. Eleanor watched her for a moment, a fleeting thought of connection crossing her mind, quickly dismissed. There was a barrier between them, unspoken but tangible, a chasm of employer-employee dynamics and differing worlds. Yet, as Maria hummed a soft, unfamiliar melody, Eleanor felt a tiny crack in her carefully constructed emotional wall. It was a melody that spoke of home, of family, of a warmth Eleanor hadn't felt in years. She silently slipped back to her room, leaving Maria to her work, leaving the hum of that gentle song to echo in the quiet corners of her mind. This was her life, a monument to her accomplishment, a tomb for her spirit. The launch of Nexus, while a professional triumph, loomed as a personal reckoning. What would she do when the final goal was achieved? When there was no longer a project to consume her every waking thought? The answer, a chilling whisper in the silence, was nothing, just more of this beautiful, empty existence. She fell asleep eventually, not from exhaustion, but from the sheer weight of her solitude. She dreamed of a world full of connection, a vibrant tapestry of human interaction, a world she had built but couldn't seem to inhabit herself. Irony was a bitter taste, even in her dream. The next morning, the day of the Nexus launch, Eleanor woke with a familiar knot of anxiety and anticipation. The world was about to see her creation, and she, its architect, felt utterly unprepared for the quiet aftermath. Walked to her office, a space as immaculate and efficient as her mind. On her polished desk, next to her meticulously organized schedule, sat a small, unadorned envelope. It was cream-colored, with her name, Eleanor, written in a clear, unpretentious hand. Not typed, not printed, but handwritten. Eleanor picked it up, a strange sense of curiosity piercing through her usual professional composure. She rarely received personal mail, and certainly nothing handwritten in such a simple, heartfelt manner. Opening it, she found a single card inside. It wasn't a corporate greeting or a promotional flyer. It was a simple, blank card, and on the inside, in the same gentle handwriting, it read, "Dear Eleanor, I see how hard you work, the quiet strength you carry. Even the most powerful people need to be seen, to be acknowledged, the heart of who they are, not just what they achieve. May today bring you a moment of genuine peace and a reminder of the connections that truly matter. With quiet admiration, Maria." Eleanor read the words twice, then a third time. Her hands trembled slightly. The message wasn't about her company, her success, or her public persona. It was about her, the person, the woman behind the empire. "You need to be seen." The words resonated deep within her, touching a place she had long believed to be barren. No one, not her board, not her investors, not her closest colleagues, had ever offered such a profoundly personal observation. It was raw, honest, and utterly unexpected. How had Maria, her quiet housekeeper, seen this? How had she perceived the aching void behind the polished facade? Eleanor had spent years building an impenetrable wall around her emotions, a fortress of professionalism and self-sufficiency. With a few simple, handwritten words, Maria had breached it. A tear, hot and unexpected, traced a path down her cheek. It was the first tear she had shed in years, a tiny stream breaking through the parched desert of her heart. It was the last time someone had looked at her and seen beyond the CEO, the visionary, the titan of industry. When had anyone cared about her peace, her well-being, without an agenda? Maria had. Maria, who moved through her apartment like a ghost, whose presence Eleanor had barely registered beyond her duty. Eleanor heard the soft sounds of Maria moving in the kitchen, the gentle clatter of dishes, the faint hum of a morning melody. Walked out, the card clutched in her. Maria stood at the counter, meticulously arranging a fruit platter, her back to Eleanor. "Maria." Eleanor's voice was a little rough, unused to expressing such raw. Maria turned, her eyes widening slightly at the sight of Eleanor's tear-streaked face. "Eleanor, is everything all right?" Eleanor held out the card. This is, thank you." Maria's cheeks flushed, a slight embarrassment in her eyes. "I hope I didn't overstep. I wanted to." "No," Eleanor interrupted, her voice gaining strength. "You didn't overstep. Means more to me than you could possibly know." They stood in the kitchen, the fruit platter between them, a silent bridge forming where a chasm had once been. The professional barrier so long established began to crack. I should get ready for the launch," Eleanor said, though her feet felt rooted to the spot. "Of course," Maria replied, her gaze still gentle and understanding. "It is a very important day." Eleanor paused at the archway, turning back to Maria. "Maria," she said, a new thought forming, impulsive and daring. Would you like to have coffee with me sometime? Not here, not while we're working, but outside? At that little cafe down the street?" Maria's eyes, usually so guarded, lit up with surprise and a fragile hope. Yes, I would like that very much." "Good," Eleanor said, a lightness spreading through her chest she hadn't felt in years. "We'll find a time that works." As Eleanor walked back to her room to prepare for the launch, Maria's card still clutched in her hand, she felt a profound shift. The multi-billion-dollar launch of Nexus, a product designed to connect millions, suddenly felt secondary to the simple, handwritten connection she had just made. The first time, the future held not just professional milestones, but the quiet promise of genuine human warmth. It was a revelation, a quiet earthquake within her soul. The empire she had built was magnificent, but the connection she had found was infinitely more. Maria had seen her, truly seen her, and in that moment, Eleanor realized she had been longing for it more than any success. She looked at herself in the mirror, not as the CEO, but as a woman, vulnerable, and now, surprisingly, hopeful. A week later, Eleanor found herself in the Daily Grind, a cozy, independent coffee shop she'd never noticed, despite it being just blocks from her penthouse. It was rich with the scent of roasted beans and warm pastry, a stark contrast to the sterile, filtered atmosphere of her usual corporate haunts. She sat at a small, slightly wobbly table, nursing a latte and watching the door stirred within her. What did one talk about with their housekeeper over coffee? The bell above the door chimed, and Maria entered, her eyes scanning the room. She wore a simple, colorful scarf and a warm smile, looking remarkably different from her usual composed professional demeanor. Eleanor waved her over, feeling a genuine smile spread across her own face. "Maria, please." Eleanor gestured to the empty chair. "I hope you didn't have any trouble getting here." "None at all, Eleanor," Maria replied, using her first name for the first time outside of her card. A small but significant shift. "My neighbor offered to look after my children. It is a rare treat for me to have an hour to myself." Eleanor felt a pang of guilt. An hour to herself was a daily given for Eleanor, often stretched into entire weekends of solitude. "What can I get you? My treat." "Oh no, I can manage," Maria began, but Eleanor cut her off. "Please, Maria, let me. It's the least I can do after your beautiful card." Maria's cheeks colored. "A simple black coffee would be lovely, thank you." Eleanor returned with their coffees, also carrying 2 warm, flaky croissants she'd impulsively added to the order. "They smelled irresistible," she explained, pushing one towards Maria. Maria took a bite, her eyes closing in quiet appreciation. "Oh, this is wonderful. A real treat. I haven't had a croissant in years," Eleanor admitted, taking a bite of her own. "I usually stick to my pre-portioned, nutrient-dense breakfast bar." Maria chuckled, a soft, melodious sound. "Life is too short, Eleanor, for only efficient food. My grandmother always said every meal should have a moment of joy." "Another one of your grandmother's sayings?" Eleanor asked, intrigued. "Yes," Maria smiled. "She was a very wise woman. She taught me that true wealth is not in what you own, but in the joy you find in simple things, in the warmth of a cup of coffee, in the laughter of your children, in the kindness of a friend." Friend, the word hung in the air, a delicate bridge between them. Eleanor felt a warmth spread through her chest, a feeling far more comforting than any professional accolade. "Tell me about your children," Eleanor prompted. "If you want to, that is." His face softened, her eyes distant with affection. "Elena, my eldest, she is 17. So smart, so focused. He wants to be an engineer, like you, she said. And Mateo, he is 15. A dreamer, always drawing, always seeing beauty in everything. He missed me, of course, but they understand why I am here. To build a better future for them. Eleanor listened, captivated. Maria spoke with such pride, such unwavering love, a stark contrast to Eleanor's own emotionally detached narratives of success. And you? Maria asked gently, turning the conversation. Have you always wanted to build a tech empire? Eleanor almost laughed, a genuine, unforced sound. Goodness, no. I wanted to be an archaeologist when I was little, digging up ancient artifacts, uncovering hidden histories. I was fascinated by the stories of the past, the connections between long-lost civilizations. What happened? Maria asked, her gaze empathetic. Reality, I suppose. My professors, my mentors, they all steered me towards the burgeoning tech world. Practical, lucrative, they said, and they weren't wrong. I've built something remarkable, by all accounts. Eleanor stared into our coffee, but I can't remember the last time I felt that kind of passionate curiosity about anything I do now. Most days it feels like I'm just executing a very complex, very profitable algorithm. That is a great sadness, Eleanor, Maria said simply, her voice devoid of judgment. To lose the passion that first ignited you. It is, Eleanor agreed, a sudden wave of melancholy washing over. I built this life that looks perfect from the outside, but inside, I often feel like a well-oiled machine, efficient but lifeless. Maria reached across the table, her hand gently covering Eleanor. Her touch was warm, comforting, a gesture of pure, unadulterated kindness. Never too late, Eleanor. You could still explore ancient worlds or find a new passion that makes you feel alive. Life is not meant to be lived as an algorithm. Eleanor looked at Maria's hand, rough from years of work. No manicure, just the simple beauty of a life lived for others. It was the first time someone had touched her with such unreserved warmth in longer than she could remember. Maria, Eleanor said quietly, the words a confession. I am incredibly lonely, desperately, profoundly lonely. I have achieved everything I thought I wanted, and it feels like I am slowly fading away. The words hung in the air, raw and vulnerable. Eleanor had never articulated this truth to anyone, not even to herself, in the darkest hours of her solitude. But in Maria's presence, under the gentle hum of the coffee shop, honesty felt not just possible, necessary. I know, Maria said softly, her eyes filled with understanding. I could see it. It is why I wrote the card. Loneliness has a particular kind of silence, even in a busy room. How could you? Eleanor asked, surprised. I thought I was so good at hiding it. Maria smiled sadly. Because I, too, know what loneliness looks like. When I first came to this country, leaving my children behind, I felt invisible for many months, like I was a ghost in a new land. It is a different loneliness from yours, perhaps, but the emptiness, the quiet ache, it is the same. How did you get through it? Eleanor whispered. My children, always my children, knowing they depend on me, that my struggles here will build a better life for them, gave me purpose. And then slowly, I started finding moments of joy, a beautiful sunset, a kind word from a stranger, the smell of fresh bread. Maria paused, her gaze meeting Eleanor, and now, sitting here with you, having a real conversation with another woman who sees me as more than just the help, too, is a moment of joy. You are so much more than the help, Maria, Eleanor said, a fierce protectiveness rising within her. You're the first real friend I've had in years. Maria's eyes widened, a radiant smile lighting up her face. Friend? If you want to be. I know it is unconventional because of our position. Eleanor took a deep breath. I want to be more than anything. If you're willing. Maria's smile deepened, a genuine warmth that made Eleanor's heart feel lighter than it had in decades. I would love that, Eleanor. Very much. They sat for a moment, letting the weight of this new understanding settle between them. The sounds of the coffee shop, once a blur, now seemed to hum with a newfound harmony. "So," Maria said eventually, her voice soft, "what do friends talk about over coffee?" Eleanor laughed, a sound full of genuine delight. "I have absolutely no idea. It's been so long, I might be entirely out of practice. We can start with the basics then," Maria suggested. "Your favorite color?" "Blue," Eleanor said without hesitation. "The deep, endless blue of the ocean." "Yours?" "Green. The vibrant green of new life, a thriving garden." "Favorite movie?" Eleanor continued, finding herself easing into the rhythm of personal connection. "Sense and Sensibility. The quiet strength of the Dashwood sisters, their resilience, it always moves me." "I love that film," Maria exclaimed, her eyes sparkling. "The way they find happiness despite everything." They spent the next hour sharing snippets of their lives, their preferences, their childhood memory. Eleanor learned that Maria loved to paint in watercolors, had a secret passion for opera, and made the most incredible tamales, a recipe passed down through generations. Maria learned that Eleanor had a hidden collection of vintage comic books, dreamt of learning to play the cello, and had a surprisingly mischievous sense of humor that rarely saw the light of day. By the time they left the cafe, Eleanor felt a lightness she hadn't experienced in years. As they walked to their cars, Maria turned to her, a shy smile on her face. "Thank you for this, Eleanor. It feels good to speak of these things, to be seen." "Thank you, Maria," Eleanor replied, her voice soft. "For listening, for seeing me." Maria hesitated, then stepped forward, embracing Eleanor in a quick, warm hug that smelled faintly of coffee and a comforting, earthy spice. Eleanor, initially stiff, quickly returned the embrace, a forgotten sensation of warmth washing over her. "Same time next week?" Maria asked, pulling back. "Absolutely," Eleanor said, her voice firm. "It's a friend date." Maria laughed, a sound full of genuine joy. "Yes, a friend date. I understand completely." Eleanor drove home, the aroma of coffee and Maria's comforting scent lingering in her car, the crumpled card still tucked safely in her purse. For the first time in what felt like an eternity, she had something to look forward to that had nothing to do with product launches or market share. She had found a friend. The following Saturday, Eleanor found herself in a bustling public library, a place she hadn't visited since her university days. Maria had mentioned needing to take her children to a special reading event, and Eleanor had impulsively offered to join, curious to observe Maria in a different light. Now, as she navigated rows of brightly colored children's books, she felt a quiet sense of wonder. The library buzzed with the joyful chaos of children, a symphony of whispered stories and excited giggles. "Eleanor," Elena, Maria's eldest, called out, pulling her mother towards a display of young adult novels. "Look, they have the new sci-fi series I told you about." Maria smiled, gently guiding Elena. "Later, mija. First, we find Mateo." Soon spotted Mateo, Maria's son, sketching intensely in a notebook near a sunlit window. Looked up, his dark eyes shy but curious as Maria introduced Eleanor. "Mateo, this is Eleanor, my friend." "Nice to meet you, Mateo," Eleanor said, extending her hand. The boy shook it gently, his gaze lingering on her expensive watch before flicking back to his sketchbook. "You draw beautifully," Eleanor observed, glancing at the intricate sketches of fantastical creatures. "He gets it from his father," Maria said softly, a familiar wistfulness in her voice. "He was an artist, a dreamer." Elena, sensing the shift in mood, quickly interjected, "Mom, can we go to the reading? It's starting soon." As they walked towards the children's section, Eleanor found herself observing Maria and her children. The easy affection, the gentle guidance, the shared jokes was a tapestry of connection Eleanor had only ever witnessed from a distance. "Eleanor," Mateo said quietly, pulling on her sleeve, "are you really my mom's friend?" "I hope so, Mateo." Eleanor replied, kneeling slightly to meet his gaze. Why do you ask? Because Mom seems happier now, he said, his voice earnest. She smiles more, and her eyes look softer, like she has a secret that makes her heart warm. Eleanor felt a warmth spread through her own chest. That's a very perceptive observation, Mateo. Your mom deserves all the happiness in the world. I know, he agreed, nodding seriously. Takes care of everyone, but sometimes I think she forgets to take care of herself. Profound insight from a child so young startled Eleanor. It echoed her own journey, her own rediscovery of self-care through connection. What about you, Mateo? Eleanor asked gently. Are you happy? Mateo considered this, then looked at his mother, who was now engaged in conversation with the librarian. Mostly, I miss my papa sometimes, but my mom makes it hurt less. And I like our new life here, even though it's hard sometimes. Eleanor's heart clenched. This young boy carried a quiet strength, a resilience born from loss. Want to talk about your papa? She asked, her voice soft. Was sick for a long time, Mateo said matter-of-factly. Just tried very hard, but some sicknesses are too strong. Mama explained it to me. She said his love is still here, even if his body is not. And that's why I draw, to keep his dreams alive. Eleanor felt tears prick her eyes. Your mom is very wise. She is, Mateo nodded. And she's teaching us to be brave like her. She came to a new country all by herself with us to care for. That is super brave. And she studies English at night, even when she's tired, because she wants to get a better job, to make a better life for us. She says being brave doesn't mean you're not scared. It means you do important things even when you are scared. Eleanor absorbed this, thinking about her own life. When was the last time she had done something that truly required courage, not just ambition? Building a business empire suddenly felt less heroic than the quiet, everyday bravery Maria exemplified. Reading session began. Lively storyteller, captivating the children with tales of mythical heroes. Eleanor sat with Maria, Elena, and Mateo, sharing quiet smiles and whispered comment. For the first time in years, she felt completely present, completely engaged in a moment that had nothing to do with her company or her status. After the reading, as they were leaving the library, Maria pulled Eleanor aside, her composure slightly frayed. Eleanor, I received a message from the school today. Mateo, he needs special tutoring in math. It is quite expensive, and with my current income, her voice trailed off. A familiar worry etched on her face. How much is it? Eleanor asked, her voice calm and steady. Around $500 a month for the specialized program. Eleanor didn't hesitate. Consider it handled. I'll cover it. Eleanor, no, I cannot ask you to, Maria began. But Eleanor cut her off gently. You're not asking, I'm offering. This is what friends do, Maria. We support each other, especially when it comes to our children. Maria stared at her, her eyes welling up with tears. But this is too much. Nothing is too much when it comes to a child's education, Maria. And Mateo is a bright boy. He deserves every opportunity. Maria embraced her fiercely, a grateful, unspoken thank you. Don't know what to say. You don't have to say anything, Eleanor said, returning the hug. Just let me help, please. As they walked out of the library, Mateo, who had been listening intently, looked up at his mother. Mom, is everything going to be okay? Maria quickly wiped her eyes and composed herself. Yes, mi amor, everything is going to be perfectly okay. Eleanor is going to help us. Mateo looked at Eleanor, his serious expression softening into a genuine smile. Thank you, Eleanor. You are very kind. You're very welcome, Mateo. You know what? Would you like to see my home office sometime? I have some pretty advanced computers there, and maybe I could show you how they work. Mateo's eyes lit up. Really? Elena says you build amazing things with computers. I do, Eleanor affirmed, and part of building amazing things is understanding the tools. Want to see? Mateo looked to his mother for permission. Maria nodded. a grateful smile on her face. As Eleanor led the children to her car, she felt a profound sense of connection that resonated deeper than any corporate merger or product launch. Later that evening, after Maria had put the children to bed, he and Eleanor sat on the balcony of Eleanor's penthouse, sipping tea and watching the city light. Today was different, Maria said softly. It was good, Eleanor replied, a genuine contentment in her voice. More than good. It was meaningful. I never thought I would experience this again, Maria confessed. This feeling of having someone to lean on, someone who cares without expecting anything in return. We all need that, Maria, Eleanor said, looking out at the glittering cityscape. I spent my life building walls, thinking they protected me, but they only trapped me in loneliness. You and your children, you've shown me how to tear them down. Maria reached for Eleanor's hand, squeezing it gently. And you, Eleanor, you have given us hope, a future. You are our anchor in this new world. We are each other's anchors, Maria, Eleanor corrected, her voice thick with emotion. We are family. Maria smiled, tears glistening in her. Eleanor, we are family. The city hummed below them, a vibrant, indifferent entity. But on Eleanor's balcony, a new kind of warmth had taken root, a bond forged in shared vulnerability and unexpected kindness. For the first time, Eleanor wasn't just observing life, she was living it, deeply, meaningfully, surrounded by the echoes of children's laughter and the quiet, comforting presence of her chosen family. Tomorrow, she would begin researching advanced math tutoring programs, not as a business venture, but as an act of profound love. 2 months later, the quiet harmony of Eleanor's life was abruptly shattered. She sat in her office, a grim email from Maria clutched in her hand. Elena, Maria's eldest, had been hospitalized back in her home country. A sudden, severe illness requiring immediate and costly medical intervention. Initial estimate for treatment was astronomical, far beyond Maria's means, even with Eleanor's financial support from Mateo's tutoring. Maria's message was brief, filled with a raw, desperate fear. I am scared, Eleanor. I do not know what to do. Eleanor immediately called Maria. Maria, what happened? What do the doctors say? Maria's voice was strained, hoarse with tears. It is an aggressive infection, Eleanor. They need specialized medication and urgent surgery. It is so much money. I cannot lose her, Eleanor. I cannot. You won't, Eleanor said, her voice firm, unwavering. We won't let that happen. How much do they need? Exactly how much? Maria hesitated, then whispered a staggering sum. $200,000, Eleanor, and quickly. Eleanor didn't blink. $200,000 was a significant amount, even for her, but it was money, and Elena was family. Send me all the details, Eleanor commanded, already pulling up her banking app. Account numbers, hospital name, everything. I'm transferring the funds immediately. Eleanor, no, I cannot ask you to, Maria protested. But Eleanor cut her off. You're not asking. I'm telling you, Elena is family. And families help each other. I'll also arrange for you to fly home immediately. You need to be there with her. There was silence on the other end. Then Maria's voice, choked with emotion. Thank you, Eleanor. Thank you. You are saving her life. We are saving her life, Maria, Eleanor corrected, her own voice thick with emotion. We are in this together. Within hours, the funds were transferred. A private jet chartered for Maria, and Eleanor's legal team was already coordinating with the hospital in Maria's home country to ensure Elena received the best possible care. That evening, as Eleanor sat alone in her penthouse, the silence felt different. It was no longer an empty void, but a space filled with the echoes of connection, of purpose. She had just committed a substantial portion of her personal wealth, rerouted her professional focus, put her entire support system into action for someone who just months ago was merely her employee, and she felt utterly, completely at peace with it. The Nexus launch once the pinnacle of her existence, now seemed like a distant, almost trivial event. She thought of Maria, currently in the air, rushing to her daughter's side, and felt a deep, abiding gratitude for the simple, handwritten card that had started it all. It had opened her heart not just to Maria and her children, but to a profound truth. But in the depth of human connection and the love shared within one's chosen family, the vast city lights outside her window, once a symbol of her solitude, now seemed to twinkle with the promise of a future rich with meaning. A month later, Maria returned, her face tired but radiant. Elena was recovering, the surgery a success, the infection defeated. She would need a long period of rehabilitation, but she was alive. She was healing. Maria's gratitude was overwhelming, a quiet but powerful force that filled Eleanor's home with a warmth I'd never known. "Eleanor," Maria said, embracing her tightly in the foyer, "I do not have the words to thank you. You saved my daughter. You saved my family." "He saved her, Maria," Eleanor corrected, returning the embrace. "And you don't owe me anything. You are family." That evening, after Maria had settled back in and checked on Mateo, she brought a small, intricately carved wooden box to Eleanor's office. "This," Maria said, her voice soft, "is for you, a small token of my gratitude. It is an old tradition from my village to give a piece of art that carries the spirit of our people, for those who have given us life." Inside the box lay a delicate handcrafted silver necklace. Pendant was a tiny, intricately detailed tree of life, its branches reaching upwards, its roots firmly grounded. "It represents connection, growth, family," Maria explained, "and the strength that comes from being rooted together." Eleanor held the necklace, her fingers tracing the delicate silver work. "It's beautiful, Maria. Truly beautiful." "There is more," Maria said, pulling a small folded piece of paper from her pocket. "I wrote you another card for your new life." Eleanor opened the card. It was handmade, just like the first, but this time the message was different. "Dear Eleanor, 1 year ago, I left a simple birthday card on your desk, hoping to offer a moment of kindness to a woman who seemed to carry a world of weight alone. I never imagined that small gesture would lead us here, to a place where we are saving lives and building futures together. You have shown me that family is not just about blood, but about shared humanity, unwavering support, and the fierce love we choose to give each other. You chose us, Eleanor, when we had nowhere else to turn, and we choose you back every single day. Thank you for showing Elena and Mateo what true compassion looks like, for reminding me that even in the darkest times, there is always, you are the missing branch on our tree of life, the unexpected root that has made us stronger. With all my love and endless gratitude, Maria." Nora read the card, tears streaming down her face. This time, they were tears of profound joy, of a love so deep it defied description. Up to find Maria smiling, her eyes reflecting the same warmth. "Maria," Eleanor whispered, her voice choked with emotion. This is everything. It is just the truth, Eleanor," Maria said softly. "You are our family now, and you belong with us." Eleanor fastened the necklace around her neck, feeling the weight of the silver tree of life against her skin, a tangible symbol of the connections she had found. "I love it, Maria, and I love you, all of you." "We love you too, Eleanor," Maria replied, her voice filled with an undeniable tenderness. "More than you know." They sat together in comfortable silence, the city lights twinkling outside the window, a testament to the bustling world Eleanor had once dominated. But now her world had shrunk and expanded all at once, encompassing the quiet strength of Maria, the vibrant energy of Elena and Mateo, and the profound transformative power of the chosen family. Eleanor, the tech titan, the architect of Nexus, had found her true connection, not in algorithms or global platforms, but in the beating heart of a family she never knew she needed. Her phone buzzed, a notification from her assistant. Urgent investor call rescheduled for tomorrow. Eleanor smiled a genuine, unburdened smile and quietly put her phone away. The investor call could wait. Tomorrow, she had more important things to do, like learning to cook Maria's tamale recipe, helping Mateo with his advanced math, and perhaps finally, finding a cello teacher. She had a family to cherish, and they, in turn, cherished her. It was the most beautiful negotiation she had ever made. For some tea? Maria asked softly, breaking the comfortable silence. In a minute, Eleanor replied, her fingers tracing the delicate branches of the silver tree of life. I just want to sit here a little longer and appreciate how perfect this moment is. Maria smiled, settling back in her chair. Take all the time you need, Eleanor. We are not going anywhere. Eleanor looked out at the city, at the endless sprawl of human connection she had sought to create, and realized that the most important connection of all had found her, not through technology, but through the simplest act of human kindness. She was home, and that she knew was a far greater achievement than any empire she could ever build.